It's cold. Your breath in front of you forms plumes as the snow falls around you. There's an overhang of shattered trees. A very low, smokeless fire burns in a pit of stones. A rabbit has been roasted over a spit, and its flesh has been picked away. Your people, Achira, are huddled together for warmth. These wildlings, these children of the apocalypse, have never known a world outside of this zombie-infested nightmare that you live within. You are their leader, the closest thing to a parent that they've ever known. Many of them were raised amongst others like themselves. None of them can read, none of them care to, none of them need to. They're dressed in a collection of rags and furs. Their faces and skin is covered with rough tattoos that they've given to themselves, and their hair has been colored with various dyes that they've created. There is an reminiscent view of the past here. Many of them have seen images, pictures, and watched tapes of the world that was, the world that was left behind. And you're watching over them now as they finish their meal, the oily meat being passed amongst themselves. What are you doing?
Achira is lightening her pack. She's been collecting while they've been out in the wilderness, and she's realized that she's had the mindset of where she was in Pine Haven, where there was somewhere to store something, and not thinking like how she used to when she was in the wilderness, that you carry what will get you by in the next 2 to 3 days, because you are always going to find something else because you have to. And she's realized that her pack has gotten heavier and heavier with things like, oh, just in case this, oh, just in case that. And she shakes her head at her own behind the walls mentality. Like she's been infected with that. Like she needs to relearn how to survive. And she's taking things out of her pack, things that seemed important but aren't. They just hold you down.
And so you're leaving behind many of the items that you find unnecessary now, the things that you had carried with you. The others, these wildling children that are part of your pack, already travel that way. Some of them don't carry anything more than the clothing on their back and a weapon. You've got TV, Bebe, Blossom, Gummy Bee, and an assortment of the others. The newest, DT, has been quiet and distant. For the past week since you left Pine Haven, the others have carried a stretcher, one that holds the now frozen and decimated remains of the Romero once known as Sugar. Her face and head are destroyed, but her body has been preserved and held together. It is the only thing that these children are carrying with them. It is slowing all of you down, though. DT sits next to the body, rocking back and forth and whispering to it. Her dark hair has become matted and hangs in front of her face, and she's not been taking care of herself, though she is wearing the jacket, the leather jacket that was given to her by you.
DT, how close are we back to your camp?
Father will know. Father won't let her go. It's okay, sugar. It's okay still. Stay with me, okay? Achira, she's okay. It's not as bad as we thought it was. She's going to be okay.
DT, I know that it's hard to, because of everything that this world is, where the living become the dead and the dead walk, and sometimes the dead learn. But sometimes people are just all the way gone. And we have to learn to live with that. And sugar is all the way gone.
What are you saying?
That it's really good for us to remember what sugar was like when she was here,
Why are you talking about her like she's gone?
Because she is, DT.
She starts crying. And all of the others gather together in a circle and close in tight around all of you. You feel their warmth as the other wild children of the apocalypse gather together in their ragged circle and all put hands on DT.
I promise you, I will get you back to you, both of you back to your father, so that you can lay her to rest right. We all need that time.
So I don't have to leave her here. We're
No.
going to take her to Father.
We've only been out here for about a week or so, hopefully this is closer by now.
It won't be long. He's close. I can tell. You can hear him in the trees. Polly, it's been a week. Babylon, this encampment, a former Christian summer camp, has a new form of life that has taken hold here. You have been curled into this gray, shattered caretaker's building. You've lived amongst the warmth that is held within this shattered place. It's covered in dust, cobwebs, and memories from years and years ago, far beyond just the end of the world in 1994, but the time before that. Old black and white photos, portraits, antiques, remnants of a world that you've never understood, never known. You're far too young for that. You've learned how to survive on your own, and you've lived amongst those who were like you. But now, that world feels just as distant as anything that you've ever known. Here in Babylon, there are only a handful that are like you, living. Most of the inhabitants of this place are Romeros, the dead, brought back to life, and many of them, you've learned, are not like the dead you've seen before. Much of this that you've seen Much of this that you've experienced defies explanation. And here within this house in the attic above you, a very strange individual lives. Her name is Providence, and she's never shown you her face, but she likes yours very much. And she's assisted you, aided you, since you were attacked outside of Pine Haven. You've lost the ability to hear. You are deaf and closed off from the world around you. You have a small gray dog, Spike, that you've adopted. He's helped you, kept you safe, and protected you. And here, the leader of this place, Babylon, is a man who you know all too much about, Lampwick, former companion to many of those that you lived with at Pine Haven. And now, you are here, and there are blizzards and ice and snow beyond the borders of this little valley amongst the mountains and trees that hold this place, this village of the dead. You know that also there are other things in those borders, things that threaten all of you. Strange, white-armored individuals with weaponry that you've never seen before. But you've been protected and safe here, despite everything around you. Despite the fact that every part of you screams in terror as you watch the dead roam back and forth. What used to be a source of dread may be the only thing keeping you alive now. These Romeros have taken on some semblance of a regular town or city. They have pens, and they hold livestock and other living people within them. It seems that they've gathered many supplies here. You watch as the dead unload sacks of grain from a cart pulled by dead horses and carry them off into barns. You watch as they clear snow away from the other buildings and make sure that the pathways are walkable. You watch as they care for their father. For the past week, he's been standing there in the middle of the snow, in the middle of a grove of trees, just staring up at the sky. What do you do?
Polly has spent the last week witnessing all of this and also kitting out this house. Anyone who lives here would know how to traverse it, but it's essentially equipped with the sort of traps that don't kill someone, but that make a sound on the ground loud enough that it vibrates through the floors, and she can hear it with her touch, as it were. But between that and making this connection tighter with Spike so that she can use him, she steps out, looks, and sees that Lampwick is still standing there after a week.
Every day, at the foot of the threshold to the room that you've claimed as your own, you find that there is a small plate of cooked meat and rough-made bread, a cup of water.
And she steps out, maybe for the first time, that week and heads towards that grove and stands in front of Lampwick, maybe a foot away, just trying to see if there is anything there.
You're standing before him. He's not moving. His eyes are open and unblinking, and they are completely and utterly black. Pitch black, with no semblance of life, and the veins are worked across his cheeks, and the snow has piled heavily around him, and the dead are circled not far away, just staring at him as he stares off. An emptiness is there. But in that grove, in the center of the Babylon encampment, there are these trees. They seem to be growing and flourishing even in the middle of winter. Dark, twisted limbs like gnarled weeds push upward from the soil and spread out oily red leaves. It's the first time you've gotten close enough to be able to really see them. He's in the center of this grove. The cracked bark oozes a thick, black sap that runs down into the snow beneath the trees and forms pools of this sticky sap. And it's entrapping small creatures, little furry squirrels and other woodland life that are trapped within it. Insects are also there. They seem to be drawn by the sickeningly sweet smell that permeates the air here. But that's not what bothers you. Now that you're here, in the dusk, you see the trees much more closely, much more clearly. Entwined in the bark and vines are the living corpses of dozens of Romeros, now conjoined in a network of plant growth. They're not gone. They're moving. Their eyes twitch and open as their mouths jaw endlessly. And at the top of each of the trees, large red fruit grows. Not quite an apple, but something close to it. There's one on the ground next to you. What do you do?
I pick it up and I put it in my pack. I don't want Spike eating it. Whatever the fuck that is. And I signal down to him one of the things that I've taught him, which is in the case of danger, pull back. And I'm going to try to wake up Lampwick.
How are you going to do this?
I reach forward and I take him by the arm and I just give him a shake.
As soon as you touch him, I need you to make a composure roll.
Me?
Yes.
Fuck. Okay. Oh yes, excuse me, thank you.
You reach your hand out and you touch Lampwick.
That's an 11. My composure is 45. 3 degrees of success.
His head jerks down, and he is now looking directly into your eyes, though they have not changed.
Wake up.
His mouth opens, and slowly his jaw splits in half, and his neck spreads open before you like a strange flower as black tentacles begin raising themselves up from the pits of his chest and unfurling around you but not touching you. They frame you on all sides as you see what is at the core of them. A black pit of sharpened fangs, dripping black bile. Lampwick. The fire is out. It's been out for some time now. There are a series of old rusted out trucks. They're in front of you. You see other survivors moving amongst them, loading up heavy-looking packs with food and supplies, searching through a series of crates. You see a figure silhouetted there by the dying light of a sun that is setting far, far away from you. He seems familiar, but you've forgotten his name. His face is kind and he's stern, but not with you. There's a light in his eyes when he looks at you. His dark skin is chapped from the weather around him, but he moves closer to you, reaches his hand out and puts it on your cheek. You're trying to remember his name.
I grab his hand to try to just feel whatever I can that might be familiar about it. And I squeeze it. What happened?
Where are you? Your eyes, you don't seem to be here with us. Where were you?
I was... I was here. I was here. What do you mean? What happened?
Well, we found some supplies. Just in time.
Okay.
It was getting pretty rough. And, the others, they've started to load them up, but you've been standing here for the past hour. Lampwick, you're doing it again. You're not here. You're not with me. You keep leaving. Why?
Where am I going? What do you mean? And I take his hand and I kind of put it. I'm gonna smell it. I mean, I don't know what I can trust in my senses right now. So I take his hand and I am looking at his eyes that seem like there's some kind of tenderness and kindness there that I feel like must be misdirected. I don't know why it's coming at me.
This man loves you, and you can tell by the way that he looks at you, and something inside of you is reminding you that you are lying to him about something. You're hiding something from this man, something that you intend to do, something that you want to take. His smell is very familiar to you. You can't remember his name, but you remember this smell. It's dirt and sweat. His smell, it's everything. And you remember now that you're doubting your path for the first time. This con that you're running, this game that you're playing, maybe it's not worth it any longer. Hey, you're doing it again. Do you need me to go?
I do, yes, I do. I need you to go.
I was going to say, see if there was any medicine, but you need me to leave?
You do. You need to leave. Why are you?
Baby, come on. I need you to be here with me.
I don't deserve you.
That's silly.
No, you know that. And
We've
you
been
should
through
stay
this
away
before,
from me.
Lampwick, and you know, I'm no saint. I used to be a cop, but that doesn't mean shit, and you know it. The police were just as bad as the criminals, and you and I both come from a world that it doesn't matter anymore. This is who we are now, you and me, here, out here. What about her? What about us? When you say go, do you mean
What do you mean, her? Who? What? What about her?
our family?
Where is she?
She's always been here.
Where is she? Why is it? Where have you taken her?
She lives within you. You are her shepherd, her saint.
I miss her. I need to see her.
This man raises his face back to yours, and you see the rot and the worms pushing through his flesh. His eyes are empty and vacant, gone, black pits.
I walk up to him and I look into his eyes. You should have stayed away from me. This is what becomes of everybody that I touch.
Your touch is sacred. Your touch gives a new meaning to life itself. You are not the end of things.
But the Lampwick. And you feel a hand on yours, and you are staring at Polly in the snow. Shivering, you see her breath plume out in front of her, and you watch as those black tentacles pull themselves back into your chest. Your mouth closes. The dog is barking at you, growling.
It's fine. It's fine. You were standing there for like a long time.
How long?
6, 7 days.
You can't hear him. You can read his lips, but you can't hear him.
Pretty easy to tell just the 2 words. Anything more is going to be difficult.
I have to go. I start to walk. But I walk through the grove of the trees, and as I walk past them, I lay a hand and touch them.
You watch Polly as he walks away, as he places his hand upon these strange trees. The dead that are entwined within them all turn towards him with empty longing on their faces.
We're running out of time.
Wait!
I stop and I look back.
And I just point up at the trees.
You see the fruit growing there. Strange, large apple-like fruit that grows there.
That's for you.
What?
That's for you.
I take the fruit out of my pack.
That's for you.
What's going to happen?
Whatever must happen will happen.
I put it back in my pack.
I have to go. I have to go look. I walk away.
As you step out of the grove, you see your people surround you. The dead part ways, and you have a path before you. There are only a few living souls here within Babylon, but of them, there are those that have cared for you and assisted not only you, but the rest of your people. Eunice and Eva are both pale, dressed in ragged clothing, but they are bundled tight now in blankets as they step out, looking to you.
I approach them and I reach out my hands.
You've returned to us. They grab your hands and pull you forward as Jacob, a pale boy, runs to you and wraps his arms around you.
How long was I gone?
Too long, Father. We've been waiting for you to return.
I need to remember. I need to take me to where the memories are. I need to remember.
Yes, Father. We'll take you to where the memories are. And they lead you off. Faith. You're looking through the sight of a gun. The crosshairs move across the snow. The Allegheny River is frozen solid. Ice stretches out across it. It's cracked in places, but it's been solid enough for the sleds to make their way down it. Here in the Pin region, when winter falls this heavily, when things become this difficult, those that usually use the river trade by boat resort to donkeys and skiffs to move their goods across the land amongst the civilizations and communities that need them. You're part of the Citadel. You've been here for a week. Riggs, James Riggs, general and leader of this reclamation army, has given you many important duties to fulfill. You have a unit with you. They've taken your lead. They're unquestioningly yours. You have 5 other soldiers with you this day, and you're watching as the small, meager caravan pulls itself across the ice. This group, they've been traveling for some time amongst the communities that the Citadel lays claim to. They've refused to pay tribute for protection. That makes them fair game. What do you do?
Okay, everyone, as usual, wait behind until I give the signal. I go first. Don't shoot until I give the signal.
Copy that, Blackbird.
I head down to the caravan by myself. I keep my gun trained on them.
You're dressed in the fatigues and armor of the Citadel, are you not?
Yes.
Everything that you have now is newer than it was when you were at Pine Haven. The Citadel has done well for itself in your absence. Since Rowan died, they've managed to collect and consolidate a great amount of resource amongst the Pin region. They haven't grown weaker. They've grown stronger. But even in their military strength, their numbers are not what they used to be, dwindling. Riggs has been working to recruit, doing what he can to bring new individuals into the fold and train new soldiers as quickly as possible. The remaining communities continue to fall into line, but you know for a fact that the rumors are spreading and that the flaws in the armor are beginning to be seen. You start moving down the slow embankment closer to the water, and you hear a woman yell back, "Hold!" as the caravan stops, and a heavily bundled form, the one that this woman's voice has come from, steps out towards you and unslings an old-looking shotgun, holds onto a hatchet in the other hand.
Everyone out of the caravan. I'm with the Citadel. We have guns trained on you from up on top of that hill. We have snipers. You can't escape. Let's talk.
Now hold on. We're just passing through. We ain't got any truck with you or your people.
You haven't paid the Citadel tribute. I'm here to collect or to take what you have. Everybody out.
You heard the woman. Everybody out. And immediately, 2 men from one of the sleds pop forward with guns trained on you and begin firing.
As soon as they start firing,
Yes.
I put my hand in the air as a signal to start shooting.
Your hand flies into the air, and the first man immediately falls backwards as a bullet rips through his neck. And you see the dark hole emerge and the blood spray outward across the other man's face as he drops his gun and flies backwards. He doesn't have a chance to fire at you. The second man, a gunshot flies over his head and he ducks lower and pulls the trigger. A shot flies out towards you and catches you in the chest. However, you're wearing Citadel armor, and it absorbs the impact. You're thrown backwards. I'd like for you to make a balance check to see if you remain on your feet. Your armor has also been compromised.
That's a wash. So 1 degree of failure. I'll spend 2 degrees of competency to make that 1 degree of success.
2 of your own competency points, is that correct?
Yes.
If you do that, then you will remain on your feet as you rebalance yourself. There are currently 12 competency points in the shared pool.
Ooh.
But I've been given a certain amount of risk, and I'm going to spend 20 of it right now to give them something special. The woman that was talking to you before steps back, and you watch as she pulls something out of her robes and bites the ring off of a grenade, preparing to throw it. I'd like for you to tell me what you wish to do, what your intention is, and to roll 2 blue dice alongside whatever it is that you're going to do here.
I know I have about 10 seconds. And in those 10 seconds, I yell, I was here to give you a choice. You can die here, or you can come with us. I was trying to give you a choice, and I want to try to do a called shot at the grenade to try to explode it at where the woman is.
All right. I'd like for you to go ahead. Are you doing this with a pistol, or are you doing this with a rifle?
Pistol.
Okay, so go ahead and make a pistol check for me. I'm going to have you add 1 black die for your difficulty for shooting at such a small target. But I also need those 2 blue speed die to see who goes first in this interaction.
I was supposed to remove 1 speed die because of my pistol ability, and I rolled them, so I'm just gonna reroll the whole thing.
Okay, just reroll the 1.
Okay, nice. That's a 1 for speed. Wowie!
A
Okay.
1 is absolutely the best that you could possibly have. So you are going to immediately react as you get pushed backwards from the shot, and your armor absorbs it, so you see the kind of the smoke welling up in the darkness as the shot has not found purchase beyond the Citadel armor that has saved your life. But you immediately pull out your pistol, you say what you say, and you pull the trigger. The woman, her face now clear to you underneath the furred hood, glares at you. And before she can say anything, your bullet rips through the grenade and she explodes. A leg and an arm fly through the snow, spreading gore as they land just a few feet away from you. Half of the caravan is also destroyed in the explosion, and one of the mules is dead. The other is wounded and pulling itself along the ice. You hear a cracking noise as the sled shifts and slowly sinks down into the cold water. Your people are now on the ridge and are moving down to you, flanking on either side, protectively covering you. The other man is killed, and the rest of these merchants step away from the sleds, hands raised. There are 4 of them. They do not seem to have weapons on them.
Before the rest of the group can make their way down, I go over to the 4 survivors. It didn't have to happen like this, and I know this isn't fair. But you can come, the 4 of you can come with us to Citadel. We'll give you shelter, we'll train you. You can have a life. You can make choices there. I can't let you go. What do you want to do?
There's a younger man. Tears are rolling down his face as he looks back at the blackened spot where the woman was standing. Hard eyes meet yours. The other 3 are looking to him, to you, and at all of the soldiers with guns around them. Their hands are still up.
Make a choice.
Okay. We're not here to die. We'll work for the Citadel. But, you just killed Daniel's mother. Can you give him a moment?
That's not how this works.
Fine. Come on, Daniel. Come on. You gotta let it go.
I turn from that group. I walk over to the mule. That's still kind of alive.
Yeah.
I shoot it in the head.
You do so, and the body sort of jolts for a moment, and then it falls and remains motionless. The cracking of the ice has subsided, but you don't think it's going to be safe here for long. Other soldiers have begun pulling what they can off of these sleds and actually start pushing around the people that have surrendered themselves to you, and are having them pull what they can out and back onto the riverbank. While all of this is happening, Faith, you notice that one of your soldiers catches your eye and starts walking towards you. His name is Jones, and he's been around for a while. He walks towards you. You know that Daniel boy. He isn't likely to forget this. Do you want me to take him out of play?
No. If he grows up and can kill me later, maybe I was meant to die.
He's old enough to kill you now.
Yeah. We'll see about that. How did the supplies look? Was it worth coming all the way out here?
Yeah. I don't know where they found it, but they've got a lot of dried meat. Looks like it's been recently cured. And there's a lot of biodiesel here. I don't know who's still making it, but we've got to find it.
That's great. We'll question them later once we get back. Let's everyone, let's hurry up and get out of here. They're all coming with us. Don't kill them. They're going to become Citadel citizens today. And as we start to move away, I grab my wrist, and I still have the bracelet that Sugar gave me. She had found some beads at the bottom of Polly's collection of crafts and made it and given it to me before we went exploring into the bunker. And I look at it and I think about Achira, Camilla, Rhodes, Polly, and I turn and walk away.
You mentally say your litany as you remember why you're here, who you're doing this for. The soldiers are smiling and laughing. They're callous. The people that you've taken are frightened. And these Citadel soldiers don't seem to care. You gather back together and start making your way back to the Citadel. Achira, fire is gone. You and your group decided to move on, yes?
Yes.
I'd like for you to tell me how you're moving through these woods. It's a dense forested area. You've traveled through the Penn region extensively, and The only time that you've been in these mountains or in these forests, it's not ended well. Those marauders, the cannibals, they're the only people that you've run into in this deep of the woods. And now you're being guided by DT right into the mouth of the beast. How are you moving forward? What skills are you using? Are you doing anything specifically to ensure your safety and the safety of the children that are under your care?
Achira moves the way that she's learned through trial and error. You don't move during the day. That's the time that you find someplace high, and you hide, and you listen, you rest. At night is when you travel. Being mindful of traps in particular, because she remembers how the marauders would herd people into what they thought was a place of respite and was a place of horror. And always stealth. Always. That's what's kept her alive this long. Stealth, and when you're in the wilderness, you don't trust people.
And so you are trusting your own people, though. Are you trusting DT to know where DT is going, or are you attempting to lead this party forward?
Achira's going to trust that DT knows her way home.
Then I want you to make a stealth roll for me.
Because I can take 9 away, that's 1 degree of success.
Just 1 degree.
Just 1 degree. I will utilize some of my, because I assume I'm in just a regular environmental location.
You are in a regular environment, as far as you can tell.
So I'll utilize 2 of my own competency points to make this stealth 3 degrees of success.
You're very quiet. So are the others around you. The only noise that might give you or your group away is the pulling of that sled, that cart that holds the body of Sugar, but it's very quiet despite that. In very rocky terrain, TV and Bebe get onto either side and actually carry Sugar. But they can't do that all the time. So, for the majority of your travel, this corpse is dragged behind all of you, and DT always helps, but at least one other person has to be with her as she moves this forward. And you are quiet, and those around you are quiet, but there's the sound of the sled being pulled, and every once in a while it'll hit a rock or a root, and it'll scratch against it, and it'll echo through the woods around you. The canopies are so thick here that you don't know most of the time whether it's day or night. You keep track, given everything that you've learned about wilderness survival, but you don't have confirmation. You don't see the light. You simply are telling time internally as you pull yourself forward. And DT continues to lead your group. They're scoured across this woodland, and they don't walk in single file. They spread out and make sure that everyone is aware of anything that might be happening around them. It's after about half a day of travel, TV stops. Holds his hand out, a signal that all of you immediately recognize. The others stop. What do you do?
I'll go up to DT. Are you Home?
We're close, but we're not there yet. Not yet.
What did that call mean?
TV makes the call again. And looks to you, points to his eyes, and then points out to the east.
So Achira would know exactly what this means.
Someone is close.
To the east.
Hmm.
Achira would break away from the group. Usually, Bebe would more than likely trail afterwards, but Achira doesn't expect it.
You get closer, you start moving towards the direction the TV pointed towards. You're quiet. The woods are thick around you. It's dark. But you start to see silhouettes moving in that darkness underneath the canopies in the snow. Two smaller figures. One of them is scrambling backwards, and you hear a man scream, "No!" as he falls back. One of the figures is large, too large, and dragging a woman by the leg through the snow. What do you do? What is your intention?
Is it a Romero? Is it one of the large Romeros?
The way it walks, the way it moves, it doesn't wear a burlap bag over its head, but it's definitely larger than anything that should be alive. Muscle upon muscle, mutated in strange ways. The rotten flesh isn't clear to you in the darkness, but you have very little doubt. This is one of the abominations that has hunted you, that you've faced in the past.
Achira thinks it's a shame for them, and she moves away.
You pull back as you see the large figure reach down and grab the man by the neck and hold him high. And even this far away, as you move back towards your children, you hear the snap like a twig, the crack of his spine as it breaks under the strength of this thing. And you move back. TV nods to you from the tree. Bebe and the others encourage DT to move forward, and you and your people continue on.
And I also tell them to be very aware of their scent and of the wind. They should know this already, but just in case, because one of those tracks. But it's busy right now, and it'll be feeding, which is good for us.
You keep moving. Your children listen to your advice, adjust themselves, position themselves so that the wind doesn't carry their scent. You realize you do have an advantage here. The stench of Sugar's body conceals much. And as you start moving forward, you hear in the distance groaning, like a horde of Romeros gathering and swarming.
I have them stop.
Hundreds of them.
We can't go this way.
But this is the way to Father.
DT, there's too many of them. We can't get through this.
It's okay.
We'll find a different way around to get to your dad, but
No.
we're not going through this.
You don't understand. Sugar needs to find father. Sugar's hurt.
Not everybody is like Sugar. These Romeros are not like Sugar. They eat us. They don't make us jewelry. They don't give us colored fabrics. They're not Sugar, and we cannot go through them. We have to go around. Do you understand, DT?
I don't think you understand. We have to go this way. It's where father is.
We can't go through there. We wouldn't be able to fight enough of them.
We won't have to.
What?
He'll know. He'll know that we're coming. They'll tell him, and he won't let them hurt us.
DT, it doesn't work like that. It's impressive that you were able to get Sugar to listen to you, but that is one Romero. I can hear them. They are mindless, dead. All they do is eat, and we'll be lucky if there aren't any abominations or sniffers or trackers amongst them. I'm not going to put us at risk to go through this.
Stay here. I'll take her. Just stay here, and I'll come back.
I'll give you a day. We'll scout in this area. If you're not back by then, we're going to move on. We have to find people to help us dig out that bunker.
Always walls. It's always walls with you.
It's the supplies in the bunker. It's not the walls for that. It's the supplies. Supplies mean independence. You have to fight for it. You have to get it, and then you have to keep it.
That's right, Sugar. She's upset. She's not mad at you.
Sugar isn't talking to you!
She always talks to me. She's my sister. And you're already free. You just don't know it yet. You've come out here, and now you have everything you need, but you can't see it. You want to live? Start living.
I am living. I am.
You feel Bebe place her hand on your back. We'll find safety for now, and we'll keep moving. Let her go. She doesn't want to be here with us. It's okay. If she lives, then that'll be okay. But for sure, we can't go with her.
Not through this.
You don't know. You don't see. But you will.
DT, I will give you a day. If you get in trouble, call for us. I'll try to get you out. But I wish you would just come with us and go a different way. But that's your choice.
This is the way that I have to go. This is the way back to Father. And if you need help, or if you decide you want to live, come and find me. Come and find Sugar. You can live with us and be free. And she turns and starts grabbing Sugar, and instead of using the skiff, she just kind of like holds the body and starts pulling it through the snow.
Achira watches her go, and she feels a bit of failure. She feels helpless as she watches DT struggling with this literal dead weight trudging through the snow. We'll give her a day. Let's look around this area.
Your wildlings nod and they start to spread out and they scout the area. I'll allow you to make a search check and see what you can scavenge in the area. It is dangerous. You've already realized that the dead are thick here. They're roaming through these woods, and some of them are much more dangerous than the Romeros that you typically run across. Some of them are different. How did you do?
Taking 9 away makes me 30. Yeah, it's basically a wash.
You have a wash.
Yeah.
There are still 12 competency within the shared communal pool that you can draw from, but it's 7 o'clock.
You said something about the what? Oh my God! No, you did not.
Giving us a
You did
time
not
check.
just do that to me. Oh, okay. So you did just say something about this environment being a little bit more dangerous than
You are
previously.
now in a location hazard,
Yeah.
Never hurts to ask.
and everything that comes along with it.
Okay. Since that was a wash, I'm gonna take my competency points for that location hazard, and I'm gonna utilize 3 of my own points to put that into a search for 3 degrees of success on it.
And how many competency does that leave you with?
That leaves me with 6 from myself.
I see. So be it. You search, and you and your wild children are able to find food. They hunt, and they gather, and they bring together a very meager meal that all of you share. It's enough. It's enough to survive. They melt down snow, and you drink the water. And they care for each other quietly. And before going to bed, Bebe pulls out a small leather-wrapped bundle and comes up to you. Would you like for me to finish your picture while we wait?
Achira nods, unwraps her scarf and opens up her jacket to pull down to right here on her shoulder. There is what will be a bluebird, a tattoo of one, which represents what her love, Aria, the nickname that she gave to Achira, and also the book, The Little Bluebird.
It was your guiding light in dark times when you nearly died. A symbol that not only represented love, but your will to survive. And Bebe, in this leather bundle, pulls out a small little wood containers that have been carved that have various inks inside of them, and a very sharp-looking pen that she sterilizes under the flame of the dying fire, and then begins to go to work, pounding slowly away and giving you a tattoo, a mark. And it hurts, but it helps you to focus. And the burning sensation draws you back into memories of her and everything that you've lost.
And Achira tells them about her and doesn't sugarcoat it. Tells them about Arya, how she is Candy Max, that they can see her in the VHSs if we're ever able to find one that has her in it. That she had gotten hooked on drugs. That with Achira's help, and with the help of being buried alive in a bunker, was able to kick them. How much she meant to her.
Everything that you say, they listen to with attention, and you feel all of the children close to you.
And she tells him about Lampwick, how he was so dear to her, and how he killed the person that she loved the most in the world.
Why didn't you kill him?
He was the person that, besides Arya, might have meant the most to me. And he took her away from me. It didn't make sense to have him have the release. So I took the most important thing away from him. A child that he had adopted. So that he could feel a fifth of what he had done to me. Because he not only took her, he took himself out of my life. So I took myself out of his.
They put their hands on your shoulders as you feel the tears, as the pain wells up, as the needle pokes again and again into your skin. And as you cry in the night air, you hear the flapping of wings above you. As a dark bird lands not far away. Immediately, without any hesitation, Bebe's hand grabs a sling and has a stone in it before you can blink, and the stone flings out, and the bird drops, rolling over, squawking loudly as feathers fly through the air. Bebe runs after, and then stops, holding the bird. She turns back to you and drops it. And you watch as the maggots and worms fall through her fingers. And another bird and another land around you all. Polly, what are you doing? Once Lampwick left, what did you do?
I went back to the house. Kind of put myself in the corner for a minute, I think. And after that, went outside and started working with Spike.
You're training the dog. Spike is smart, also very protective of you, careful. You're watching the dead swarm around Babylon. They move and flow in a very strange way. You've never seen the dead act like this. Though they seem very threatening, they do not harm you, they do not pay attention to you. They see past you, and they never get too close. But you watch as a large figure emerges from the tree line. It's the figure that you've come to know as Clancy. It didn't take long for him to change, grow larger. The flesh of his body has knotted together, mutated, and become a twisted parody of humanity. His head is enormous, bloated, and lumpy. His neck is completely gone as the rest of his body seems to have absorbed it. His mouth is stuck in a permanent rictus of a smile, open, just broad, and you see his teeth, as if the skin doesn't hold all of this flesh within it any longer, and it pulls back, and you can see the black and the red of his eyes and the sockets around them, and the veins pumping the black bile through this body. He drags 2 dead human bodies behind him as he re-enters into the camp and brings them to the slaughterhouse.
I think just the sight of that is still not something that I have grown accustomed to. And so I go back inside and I do what I do when I am missing normalcy.
What do you do?
I go up into the attic.
The floorboards creak as you move up into the darkened attic. The hatch is open, and as you get closer, you hear music playing.
Hello?
Hello. Why have you been so far away?
I've been busy. I'm here.
I'm so glad. I've missed you so much.
I've missed you too, Providence.
Would you like to play a game?
What kind of game you want to play?
Hide and go seek. Will you play with me? Will you play?
Yeah, I'll play Providence, yeah. I was gonna say I might not be very good at that one, but yeah, we can play.
I'll hide.
hear, once again, the wood creaking underneath you. What do?
I, like Providence, put my hands over my face and count to 10.
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm right here! I've always been near you. Father wants me to share. And I'll share with you. But you can't leave me for so long. I get scared alone.
I'm not used to hearing that loud anymore, Providence. You can't do that. I'll come more, okay?
Do you promise?
I promise.
You won't hide from me any longer.
Not unless you ask.
I knew when you came that we'd be friends forever. Have you seen the blue star?
No, Providence, I haven't seen the blue star.
You will. When it's time. You will.
Okay. And I look down at Providence. Best friends forever, right?
We'll never be apart.
Why haven't I seen your face?
You want to see my face?
Maybe another day.
Maybe another day. Lampwick. What are you doing?
I asked to be taken to where I keep my memories.
You've been led through the snow. Jacob is pulling you forward.
And as he's pulling me, I feel like some flashes of things, almost like whispers or echoes of things that have recently happened, kind of come and tug at me. And as Jacob is pulling me, I ask, Jacob, are we safe? We were attacked.
You saved us, Father.
Okay.
You
right.
protected us, remember?
Yes.
As you always protect us. Praise be. And the two women behind you, in unison, say, praise be. You're led into another building, one of the two barns that are held off on the outskirts of the encampment of Babylon. The two large double doors open up and the snowdrifts sort of fall inward. This place hasn't been used recently. You hear the creaking of chains and rope. Figures are hanging from those chains and ropes. Bodies. But they're not gone. They're moving. Brought into a new life. They groan. And as the noise of the door echoes inward into this barn, you see their figures jostle and move as Jacob leads you past them. There are candles. All three of your living children move out and light them, and the room illuminates with a warm glow. And there are papers and books and VHS tapes, maps, pictures spread out here all across the wall.
I start looking through them.
They're not of your life, but of the world. And you see that the people hanging here are dressed in the clothing of the world that you had forgotten. One in a suit like a banker, like a puppet on a string. Another like a fast food clerk. A barista from a coffee house not far from that one. The old, moth-eaten clothing doesn't seem to be theirs. This is where memory lives. And you are surrounded with the memories of the world that you came from. Old containers, brightly colored comic books scattered on the floor, and an old, broken TV. It looks as if someone has put a fist through the screen. A VHS player lies not far from it, and tapes are scattered everywhere.
I point at the TV that's busted. And I ask Jacob, who did that?
He looks down at the ground. You did, Father.
Why did I do that? What was on that? What played?
You saw her face.
Whose?
Achira's. And as Jacob says the word, an echo of crows calls out behind you. And somehow, Lampwick, you know she's close. Very, very close. What do you do?
Achira. I leave, and I head out of this building, and at this moment my intention is to head to where I think she may be.
I'd like for you to make first a composure check to see if you can maintain your humanity.
Oh boy.
That is a 92.
92. Oh, that is 4 degrees of failure.
That is a catastrophic failure. There are 12 shared competency points still in the pool, and I know that you have a number of your own. Would you like to do something about this failure?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will take 3 from the pool and 2 of my own. To make that 1 success.
Oh boy. Oh god.
That's the 20 from before, and the 40 that I'm spending right now.
Thanks for that distinction.
So I'm spending 40 risk,
Got it.
and I'm going to make this more difficult. Only half of those competency are going to count.
Oh. Is it too late to spend more?
If you wish to spend more, you're welcome to do so.
So if only half of those count, then where am I at in terms of failures and successes?
Well, you had 4 degrees of failure.
Yep.
How many did you spend?
I spent 5.
And we will round down because this is the apocalypse. So you have 3 degrees of failure.
I will spend.
Dude, you might as
Buddy.
well.
I mean, I'll spend.
You might
yeah.
as well, because if you come looking anything less than human, Achira will shoot your ass.
I mean, who knows who's going to make it out of that? So here's what I know. I know Lampwick is going to do everything he can to hold on to whatever shred of humanity he has left. And if that means going through all of the competency points that we have, then so be it. I'm going to use 4 more from the pool.
That leaves 5 communal remaining.
And 1 of my own. So that's 5 more. What have I bought with that? So I've used 9 total so far.
That's a remarkable amount of competency. I won't harry your trip any further. You feel it rising in you, and something about today doesn't seem right. You fight, and you maintain yourself. Perhaps it was the time you spent in your memory place, but you are still you. As you trundle through the woods and the snow, stumbling forward, pushing yourself.
I stop at some point as this inner wrestling happens and I start to regain myself. I think at partway through, as I'm like wrestling with these memories, these faded faces, and then this like strange rage that somehow starts to manifest, and when it all stills, I remember Achira somewhere, but I immediately go back and I realize I cannot be here without Polly.
So you start moving back to Babylon.
I do. I don't know how far I've made it. I don't know how much time has passed. But the second I realize that I'm as much myself as I can be, I know that I need Polly here.
You turn. And the red light of a razor sharp point of light pierces the darkness and moves across the ground and up your chest. It blinds you for a brief moment as you know that it's landed right between your eyes. We're going to take a short break. Lampwick, I need you to make a dodge roll. You have, because of your state of mind, 2 black die, and I need you to roll 2 blue die so that we know the order of operations. I am going to roll for the shot that has been issued forth from somewhere in the tree line ahead of you.
Well. I gotta roll this guy. Oh!
That is an exploding die.
Okay.
So that's 7, 9 total.
9 total. My dodge is 22 out of 29. Wow. So I succeed.
You do succeed. How many degrees of success is that?
It's 1 degree of success.
The shot, for whatever reason, burns past your cheek
Ooh.
as it just barely misses you. You feel a trickle of black bile work its way down your cheek. You've been just barely grazed.
How close do I feel I am to Achira?
I'd like for you to make another composure check with 3 black dice of difficulty.
Oh. All right. Wow.
That's an exploding die. So that's 7 total on that die.
7 total on that die, plus 7, plus 66. So 14 plus 66 is
80.
80, that is 3 degrees of failure.
Do you want to do anything about those 3 degrees of failure, or would you like to write it out?
I just got shot. They attacked me. And we were just attacked. And I can't tell if that was today, last week, last month. The only thing I want to try to get a grip on is whether I feel Achira is near as I slip. And I call out her name.
How many survival points do you have?
Well, on my sheet I have 50.
If you give me all 50 of those survival points, as you slip and let this go, I'll answer your question.
I will give them to you.
You don't know how, you know. She's to the south, on a ridge not far away. You see her as clearly as you see the laser red light piercing through the darkness ahead of you. It's like you're there, seen through 1,000 eyes, all at once.
But that's far.
Not close.
That's not close.
And as you slip away into memory, that fire starts to burn in front of you. You see a shadow come up behind you. And you hear DT's voice, "Father?" And everything disappears. You're sitting by the fire. Other survivors are moving around you. You see their silhouettes, but you can't see their faces. And when they get close enough, they're just blurs back and forth that doesn't have any form, no features. But there's a figure sitting across the fire from you. She raises her head and her eyes meet yours. They're black as night, empty pits that you fall into immediately. And she's smiling ear to ear as she stares at you with those empty eyes.
Do I recognize her?
It's Achira. She's looking at you and smiling.
It's not you.
She says nothing, but she doesn't stop.
I yell out into the night. Achira! And I run as far away from that campfire as I can.
You scream in this place, and you turn and run into the night, away from the light, away from the fire, away from the smiling Achira and the face that has been stolen. And you're surrounded by a dark, inky void and cold, and you feel it. You feel it piercing through your skin to your bones. You're shivering, and you see your breath as you look down, and your hands are frostbit and frozen, blackened at the tips. As you fall to your knees and you're pulling yourself forward in this void. We'll come back to you. Faith, you and your group have made the long journey back. It's taken the better part of a day. Your new recruits have been fairly quiet. The boy, the young man, probably around 19, perhaps. You catch him staring at you from time to time as you and the others travel. It's a hard look, one that you recognize, but he doesn't try anything. He's not that stupid. You and the rest of the soldiers maintain all of the protocols. You make your radio calls as you get closer to Citadel proper, and all of the checkpoints are met. Eventually, you board an ATV that pulls you and the others the rest of the way, that gather up the supplies that you've brought on a large wagon and pull you back to the walls of the complex that you know as the Citadel, now your home. The Citadel is a large complex that was once a military installation, an Army Reserve base, here in the midst of Pennsylvania proper. You've only ever known it as the Citadel you were born after. Well, you were a baby during, but you were raised in all of this. These walls were your home for many, many years. The people that raised you made you a soldier, made you who you are. There are well-maintained walls here that have been built. This place, whatever it was beforehand, has turned into a fortress. Low, flat buildings surrounded by walls and chain link fences, but it's been a while since you've been here. When you first came back just about a week ago, you had been gone over a year. And when you were here last, it wasn't just Riggs in charge, it was Riggs, Rowan, and some other lieutenants. Now Riggs rules supreme, and things have changed. Some for the better. There is a cohesion here. People respect and fear Riggs. Shit gets done, if we're being real honest, Faith, and you've seen it. They've still got an active tank. They've got a helicopter. They've got multiple other vehicles, but you, as part of the inner circle, chief lieutenant to this army, now know the truth. While resources haven't been a problem, you've been able to, along with the other members of the Citadel, gather what is needed for the survival of this place. People are perhaps the most important resource of all. And given the numerous battles that the Citadel has had to fight, over time, numbers have dwindled to a dangerous level. All of the strength of the Citadel that's purported isn't what it used to be. There's a lot more bark in the Citadel these days than there is bite. And for all the good that has been done to help secure the scattered communities that are within the blanket protection of the Citadel, you find that there's a danger. This is a house of cards that could fall fairly easily if something isn't done. And Riggs has been very honest with you about that, and has told you what the plan is. People are needed. This won't happen alone. We have to gather others, and we have to make them soldiers. He's told you more than once. And so while you're out gathering resources, you also know that it's just as important to bring back warm bodies. Warm bodies that are willing, eventually at least, to join the cause. The ATV pulls through the large gates and rattles past the soldiers as they all salute you. You see the armed guard on the towers also salute. And there's an air horn, quick and short, that signals your arrival. Stepping onto a tarmac near the helicopter from a large warehouse, you see Riggs. You can smell the smoke of his handmade cigar from here. As the bearded man, scarred from years on the field, walks toward you with a broad smile. Lieutenant Faith?
Sir.
How was the mission?
It was fine. We got 4 new recruits and supplies. And it looks like they're getting biodiesel from somewhere, so if we can figure out where that's coming from, ask them nicely, then that's a better resource for us than stealing it from other people.
He chews on the cigar. Ask them nicely, huh? And he points to your armor and the large bullet that has been embedded into it. Did they ask you nicely?
They're just defending their way of life. It's just how it is. They're not gonna fall down and say yes.
All right, well, you brought him in. I'm gonna leave it to you. Do we, give him the open hand or the closed fist?
Riggs, we've talked about this before. The model that the Citadel exists on is not sustainable. You can't just kill everybody who says no to you. You and I both know we're running out of bodies here to keep this place afloat. All the supplies in the world don't mean anything if there's no one to stay alive and enjoy them.
Open hand, then. All right, I'll play nice. But I gotta say, swimming hole's looking real lonely these days.
Why don't you just fill it with goddamn water and make it into a swimming pool?
Well, that isn't much fun. All right, let's talk to them. He walks towards the 4 individuals that you brought with you. Welcome to the Citadel. My name is General James Riggs of the Reclamation Front. You've already met my Lieutenant Faith.
If I'm standing behind Riggs while he's talking, with my hand by my side, I'm gonna use the hand signals from the wildlings to just sign, be patient, to see if they understand.
They look at your hand signals. You don't think they understand the hand signals specifically, but perhaps they understand what you're trying to say. They seem confused, but they know you're trying to do something, and they look back to Riggs. You've been given an opportunity here. We are in the business of saving humanity, and that includes you. I see that you have some supplies that you were dragging through the tundra out there, nearly getting yourself killed and all of this wealth lost. We've given you opportunities in the past to fall in line and work with us to make this world a better place. But, I recognize you, kid. Your mother used to shit all over us. I trust that she's not amongst us anymore since she's not with you now. Fuck you! Riggs looks to you. Open hand. Right?
If you can't do it, you can leave, and I can take care of it.
No, I got this. You get one with me. Fuck you! Damn it, Faith. They're yours, but if the kid tells me to fuck you, old man. I'm an old dog. And he pulls out his gun and he shoots the kid. And his body falls to the ground. His head explodes outward. You deal with the rest. And he walks away.
After the door shuts. Is there anyone else in this room with us? Is it just the three?
You've got 2 soldiers that are under your command. You could ask them to leave.
Do I know these 2 soldiers who are here?
Yeah, one of them is Jones, the one that talked to you before. Mm-hmm. And the other is Rigby. Both of them respect you. You've not had any indication that they're, under Rig's thumb any more than anybody else is here. But you can't be certain. You don't know them from before. They've been around, but never under your command, and I guess you don't know. Would you like to make a detect motive roll?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jesus Christ. That's like 3 degrees of failure. So
Would you like to ride those 3 degrees of failure out, or would you like to do something about it? There are 6 remaining communal pool points.
I think if the result is just that I have no idea, then I'm fine with that.
You don't think you can trust them is the result.
Okay.
You actually actively think that they're probably, like everyone here, ultimately under Riggs's control.
Okay. Jones, Rigby, out. This won't take a minute. Stand outside.
Copy that. We'll be close by, Lieutenant, if you need anything. And they go out and they close the door. You're now alone with these survivors.
What are your names?
I'm Justin. This is Maribel. You already know the boy that died. That bastard just killed him. This is Susie. Are we gonna die next?
No. But you have to play along. No more yelling. No more stepping out of line. You have to be patient. And you've got to learn what these mean, the hand signals. My name is Faith, and I know I'm the one that brought you here. I didn't have a choice. I was forced here too. And I'm trying to figure out a different way to be here and be trapped here and maybe help somebody at the same time. The Citadel is helping people that I care for, and I can't detract no matter what I do. I have to stay here. You 3, I am so sorry about what happened. I was hoping you would just come with us and then I could talk to you once you got here. I've not done this before. I am sorry. I'm so sorry. The leader of Riggs is like that. He's out of control, and I've known him my whole life, and I only just started noticing that for some reason.
The older woman, Maribel, steps up, pushes Justin back as Justin tries to stop her, and steps right up into your face and stares at you. You just learned this. You just learned. Is this some sort of trick or test or some sort of fucked up torture. You murdered them. You killed them in front of us and then forced us to march across all of the pin into your little installation. So fuck you, lady. And she spits in your face. You just learned.
That's fair. Look, I can explain to you over and over again how it doesn't matter what I do, they were gonna shoot you. I was trying to take you in. But fine. I just think there's a better way to do this, and I think if I could get you, if we could, I don't know, join together, work together, we could make something different. I know you all were trying to live peacefully outside of the walls, and I was too.
Justin speaks up. We were barely hanging on. Do you know what it's like out there?
I do. That's why I'm here. That's why I got forced to be here.
The breadbasket's almost gone.
But you all still had supplies.
Mary Bell looks back at Justin harshly. Shut up. I'd like for you to make a persuade check to see if they believe that you really want them to work with you and to bring about some positive change here.
My persuade is so low.
Well, then you shouldn't make speeches.
I know, I have to really hit commands. I'm trying to be a different person, dude.
You're doing a great job.
All right.
But you're gonna have to make this roll.
Okay, that's a 36 over a 25, so. That's only, what, one
degree of failure. Would you like to do something about it?
Sure. I'm gonna use, oh, god damn it. I'm gonna use 3 of my competency to make that 2 degrees of success. So I have 2 left.
2 degrees of success.
Mm-hmm. And look, you don't have to believe me right now, but no matter what happens, if I help you, if you don't help me, you're gonna be here for a while. And I'll do what I can to help you all, but until then, you just have to say yes.
Justin starts to speak again. Mary Bell tries to stop him, but he stops her. No. I want to tell her. She looks back at you with anger and just turns away, turns her back to you. I don't know if what you're saying is true or not, but I don't see how we have much choice. You're right. We're here. And if the difference is you or that asshole out there that did this, and he looks down at the dead body, well, maybe there's something that we can do to make things better.
Thank you. I know you can't trust me right away, but just be patient. Try to learn. They're going to train you to become soldiers. Try to gain what you can from that, because you're going to need those skills when it's time.
We stole those supplies. We killed another group.
Shit.
It was that or die. They had the deer meat and the gas, and we knew that we could barter for the gas. And they were unarmed. We killed them in their sleep. That's who we've become. So I don't think we're going to have much trouble learning to be soldiers. But I want to know that things are going to change. That you mean what you say. And that you can still trust us.
I hope I can. I'm not going to pretend like I have a huge, elaborate plan, but from living here, from being raised here, I do have knowledge. I've read books, there's maps all over the library. There's a better place than up here where it gets cold constantly. I think with enough people, you can make your way somewhere warmer, learn how to farm. I think we can survive away from this place. And there's a whole community I want to save. That's also under the thumb of the Citadel. And I want to go there with them.
Maribel turns. So this is all bullshit. You don't want to be here, but you're here?
If I try to leave, they kill me, they kill the community that I'm protecting. It's not bullshit. If you decide not to go with me, that's fine. Just live out your days here in the Citadel, become soldiers, stay. I just thought you might want another way, another choice.
All right. We're with you for now. We'll see.
It's fair. I leave the room. I tell Jones and Rigby. They're ready to get set up in their bunks. They're fine. They'll comply.
You scared the shit out of them, Lieutenant?
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
You march off. Achira. The first thing that you hear is a gunshot off in the distance. It's been maybe an hour since DT left. It's in the direction of the Romeros, noises that you heard. And then you hear something else. And it echoes through the woods. And you recognize it. The last time you heard it was at Three Rivers, coming from Lampwick.
The first thing that Achira thinks after the shock of that is in a small voice in her head goes, DT. Because that was the way that DT went, right?
It was. Bebe, TV, and the others are looking to you. They don't move. They're frozen in place. Gummy Bee is covered over the fire with the snow, kicking it over so that everything is completely dark and out. There's no sign that you're present. But you no longer have the body. The body is no longer concealing your scent, and you realize that the wind is shifting. Without sugar here, you feel like you might be exposed. What do you do?
We can't leave DT to whatever is happening over there.
Another gunshot. Single crack that echoes through the trees in the darkness. And then another.
We're going to go get DT. She's one of us now.
They nod.
Stay as silent as possible.
They all draw their weapons.
If it gets bad, we leave.
They start moving forward.
But we're going to try.
You're in a formation. I'd like for you to make a command roll, please.
Oh, she is not good at that.
You have 10 communal competency available.
Maybe she won't be that bad. Oh, okay. Okay. Her command is 35. I rolled a 25, so that's 1 degree of success.
Are you going to ride on a single degree of success?
Since we have some communal, I'm going to use 2 of the communal, bringing that to 8, because I want them to. We're about to go into battle to get that wildling. Yeah.
3 degrees of success are good. You keep the formation tight, and you and the others move through the trees silently. I'd like for you now to make a stealth roll.
Damn it. I knew I should have used the same dice. Okay. That is 3 degrees of failure.
All around you, the dead birds that were surrounding you and the others have taken flight and are flocking in the general area that you're in. And they're making noise and hitting up against each other, and some of them are flying straight into trees and dropping back down in unnatural and very strange ways. You're being quiet, but you're not sure that you're evading these birds enough to prevent anyone from knowing that you're coming. You have 3 degrees of failure currently. What would you like to do?
Can I, instead of using competency points, utilize my party's slingshots and everything to take down some of those birds that are causing this, noise and racket around us?
If your intention is to, have your small unit of wild children attack the birds around you, absolutely. However, it doesn't change the fact that you currently have 3 degrees of failure, and you have to use competency to mitigate those or accept that. They will then be able to attack and quell this onslaught of dead birds.
Okay, we have to be able to stealth, right? Oh, God. Okay, I'm using 2 of mine, which brings us down to 1 degree of failure.
There are currently 8 remaining in the shared pool.
And 3 of the
Leaving 5.
shared pool, which does 2 degrees of success. Is my math right on that? Yeah, 1 degree and then wash. 2 degrees of success for all the competency I just spent for stealth.
Immediately, Bebe, TV, and the others move into action upon your command. Birds start dropping out of the sky as sling bullets are thrown up into the air, piercing through their rotten husks and causing a rain of feathers to land all around you in the snow. Most of the birds are now dead. But everything is very quiet. There are no further gunshots. There's a stillness in the air. An empty quiet. An unnatural quiet. What do?
We're gonna move faster.
You don't even hear those Romeros in the distance. It seems that everything is silent. Are you going to move in the direction that DT had gone in?
And where the gunshots were, yes.
As you do, you hear Bebe whistle. And you see the hand signals It seems that Bebe has found DT's tracks.
We follow them.
You begin following the tracks. And you come upon a series of broken trees.
Trees?
Trees that have been broken at the base. Toppled over. 3 of them at least. Shattered as if something caused them to explode from the inside. There is a figure impaled on a limb. You see the strange white armor of a group that you've never encountered before. The helmet is shaped like a skull with 2 glossy black lenses. There is a black heart over the chest of the armor. A weapon hangs to their side. Everything about them is new, clean. But this figure has been impaled by a shard of this trunk that has been jutting up out of the ground, and blood is still flowing down around them. Whatever's under that armor was very human. You hear gurgling, and on their belt, you see a red pinpoint of light flashing slowly.
I tell them to run. We run from it.
It starts to speed up.
We run fast.
You and the others can make a dodge roll as you throw yourselves forward out of this grove away from the figure as it explodes.
Fuck. I rolled a 93. My dodge is 50.
4 degrees of failure.
Yup. Oh no. This went so bad so fast.
I have more bad news. You're not the only one who failed. So you can mitigate your own failure. But since you were in command of this formation, I will allow you to expend competency to aid them as well. But I'm not going to tell you how badly they failed.
Oh, no. I don't, I'm very certain I don't have enough. Okay. Is this?
A location hazard? No.
Okay. What can we do here? What can we do? All right. So, I'm going to use the last of my competency points to make it.
You had 2 remaining?
I had 4 remaining.
Oh.
So that makes this a wash for me, which I know makes it a type of failure.
You have 5 in the communal point pool. If you wish to use them, you can. You can also let your unit fail.
No. I can't, for all I know, this is a catastrophic failure for them, and I can't lose someone else. Oh, there's 5 left. If it was a catastrophic, if I use 2, that brings it down. That makes it bearable.
You still need 1 for yourself. So are you going to use 3 competency points from the communal pool?
I don't want to, but...
You gotta do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave 2. Oh God, this went so bad so quickly. I'm gonna leave 2 in the communal pool, using 3.
So 2 are remaining in the communal pool as you throw yourself forward, barely escaping the engulfment of flame. It's unlike anything that you've seen before. You've seen grenades explode. This is some sort of incendiary device that has erupted, taking everything within a 20-foot radius out, leaving char and husk and melted snow and burnt ground behind. You throw yourself forward, feeling the heat as you gain a new collection of bumps, bruises, and scratches as you roll forward. You put 3 onto your damage track as you're thrown forward. Your wildlings, most of them escape unscathed. Bebe slipped and fell forward. At the last minute, TV reaches back and grabs her, both of them being thrown by the explosion and rolling. You smell burnt hair and burnt flesh, but they, both of them held together on the ground, are still alive.
I rush over to them for any kind of first aid that I can do, especially packing snow onto any burnt flesh that I see.
You start rushing forward, and a figure drops out of the tree in front of you. It's a dark, large form. And I need you to make a composure roll.
I failed. It's a wash.
You are out of competency.
I am out of competency.
However, there are now, once again, 5 points in the communal pool that you can draw from. What would you like to do?
1, just to not
Completely lose your mind? Yes, 1 will do that.
I'll leave 4 in the community pool.
You freeze. You're unable to move. Terror works its way through your body as your eyes adjust in the darkness to the thing in front of you. Half of its face is exploded outward. The pale skin is wrought with vines of dark black bile, like a tree, like roots. The eyes that meet yours are empty and dark, and the mass of squirming black tentacles that erupt out from that chest wrap themselves around you, around your neck, and your wrists, and your waist. Lampwick, make a final composure roll.
Mm-hmm. 2 degrees of failure, but I will use competency points. How many are in the pool?
4.
There are only 4 remaining.
I will use 1 from the pool and 2 of my own.
So there are 3 remaining in the pool, and you have 1 degree of success?
Yes.
With a single degree of success, what is Achira thinking about deep in the furthest recesses of her mind?
she's thinking about, it just comes to her, and it's weird that this comes to her in this particular moment. The first time that she actually trusted Lampwick. They were on the road. They were always on the road. And he had saved her life. She never put herself in situations where someone else had to save her. And when he did, the way that he stood, the way that he was, reminded her of her brother, Blaine, the one that she never talked about to anyone, except for, well, later on, Aria. And in that moment, it was like Lampwick became her family. And she remembers that moment while she's staring into this nightmare, this twisted thing. She remembers the promise that she made Lampwick in Sullivantown, that if he changed and he wasn't himself anymore, that she would take him out. She looks at this thing that has a hold of her, has trapped her. And she wonders why she's not thinking about Aria right now. Lampwick.
Lampwick. You see a young man standing by the fire. He looks a lot like Achira, and bigger and maybe softer in the face, a little more jovial. Eyes that are maybe a little more wild and less cynical than hers. This young black man is standing before you, and you instinctively know that this is Blaine. Put her down.
Put who down?
You're going to kill her. Put her down.
Who? Who? Tell me who. Tell me who, please.
Achira. My sister. Put her down. Please.
Help me. I reach out to him.
He grabs her hand.
I hold it.
You feel warmth. That I want you to make a new composure roll. No need to do any further math. That roll is enough. Achira, you feel the snow beneath your feet again. The eyes change. The tentacles rescind. And Lampwick, you see her. You see yourself. Ragged shreds of your clothing around you. And you see Achira looking at you. What does Achira's face convey?
Horror. Disgust. And morbid curiosity, like a searching look.
As he takes his human form, the shell of Lampwick is before you, gray and ashen. A man worn away by what seems to be countless years. He looks like in the single year since you've seen him, he's aged 20. Much more gray in the hair. His face is a network of wrinkles and veins. His pallor is ghostly. You see a figure behind him step out. It's DT. Her dark hair is a mess, and she looks as if she's bleeding from the face, as if she's been thrown into a jagged pile of rocks. Father, don't hurt her.
I won't. I won't.
That is Father?
Saved Sugar. He'll save her again.
Achira starts backing up.
Achira, wait. This wasn't my doing.
Don't.
This destruction.
You talk to me.
Wait.
Don't talk to me like you weren't a nightmare thing.
I know what I am. But enough of me is still here. Please. We're in danger, DT. Tell her. It's not safe out here.
You did this.
I did not do this.
You did this.
I did not do this. I'm protecting...
The thing that is you did this.
The thing that is me is protecting what needs to be protected. I'm still me. Enough. DT. Tell her. Please.
He's, Father. He's able to help Sugar be better.
He can't even help himself.
I can't help myself because I need you to help me. I have one of your people. I've rescued her. I'm keeping her safe.
Who do you have?
I have Polly. She's safe.
You have Polly?
Yes, she's safe.
You have Polly?
Yes, come meet her.
You've been holding.
I haven't been keeping. I'm protecting her.
You give her back.
I will.
She
Lampwick. Will come.
Now.
Stay here, and I will bring her to you.
There's a whistle, and you know what it means. Your children are waiting for the signal. You hear the stretching of a bow somewhere behind you, and the whistle of their slings. All you have to do is move your hand,
Achira, we're not
and
enemies.
they will fire.
We're not enemies, Achira. Please give me a chance. Please give me a chance. Achira, everyone.
I don't even know what you are.
You don't.
You don't
You're right.
know
You don't.
what you are.
I do know. Enough. You cannot. You can't leave me just yet. I'm helping. I'm doing good. I am. And I want you to see.
You think you
I'm
are
protecting.
so far from good.
Come.
This seems good to you.
Stay.
You.
Stay. I'll bring Polly to you. I will. I will bring Polly to you. You don't have to stay here. Polly's not a prisoner.
There's no way that she would have stayed with you.
Then let her explain. Let her explain. Let her speak for herself. I know you don't trust me. And I just want a chance to prove to you that you can. Enough. At least know that I'm not your enemy. But this, and I point to where that armored thing was, where the explosion came from. These people are coming for us.
You.
No.
They're coming for you.
No, not just me.
Not us. Don't say us.
Us. The people
I've
taking care
never
of.
seen them before.
I've never seen them either. I have helped you. I gave you those documents, those papers. What else do I have to do to make up to you?
Leave DT here and get Polly.
DT, are you okay here with them? Are you safe with them?
Of course she's safe with us. How do you think she got here?
I need Father to help Sugar.
I will take Sugar with me.
They hurt her father, but I know you can help her
I'll try.
like you helped her before.
I'll try.
Please,
I'll
I
try,
can't
DT.
live without her.
Yes.
I don't know where I am
DT,
anymore.
and I approach DT, and I lift her head up, and I look her in the eyes, and I say, "You can. You have a family. You're not alone. You're here with others that care about you.
I know.
And you go on. If you cannot with her, then you go on for her.
I brought her here.
I will take her. I'll see what I can do."
Across the way, you do see the ruined body of Sugar. You remember now. You found DT and her dead sister in the woods. And you helped them. And though they didn't want to live in Babylon, they considered themselves part of your world. And they promised to bring you news of the world outside. I found her. And I brought her back to you, Father. Can you save Sugar?
I'll try.
What do you do?
I go to Sugar and I pick her up.
You pick up the body. There is no head. But you sense something else.
I do.
Something inside. Something that is calling out to you. Something in her chest.
I start to rush back towards home with her in my arms.
You rush back towards Babylon. Achira, You see Lampwick pick up Sugar's ruined body, and he and DT and Sugar start moving deeper into the woods. Bebe, TV, and the others are still waiting. What do you do?
Achira shakes her head no. He has Polly. He has Polly.
Do you stay or do you follow?
We're gonna follow. At a distance. Because if anything, there was just a loud explosion in this area. It's not a good idea to stay. As soon as we have Polly, I'll make a decision then. But until then, don't kill it.
You receive the hand signals of confirmation from your wild children. Polly, you're in the attic. You're sitting at the small round table. You feel the fingers working their way through your short hair, putting small braids in them, tying ribbons in your hair, and petting you softly and lovingly. There is an empty, broken teacup in front of you, and a plate full of red, bleeding meat.
I'm sure it looks really nice, Providence.
You're so pretty.
So are you.
No. But I want to be.
Yeah.
Father's coming back with her. He's on his way.
With who?
The woman.
The woman he's looking for?
The heretic. Achira.
Providence. I'm gonna go now, but I'll see you real soon, okay?
Don't stay away too long.
I won't.
I don't want to miss you again.
You won't miss me. Okay.
You leave. She doesn't stop you. As you leave, you see her turn away and hide her face in the corner, covering her head in her long, spindly hands as her knees bend backwards and she pushes herself as far into the dark as she can, hiding from the moonlight as you leave. Spike is with you, and as soon as you walk down, the creaking of the stairs disappears and you're back in the abyss of quiet.
Just reach down, pat his head, and head outside.
He leads you, guarding you, forward. And out of a clearing, you see Lampwick, carrying a body. And you immediately recognize the bright colored fabric. It's Sugar, but Sugar barely has a head and is stiffened with rigor mortis, pulled together in a horrifying rictus. And behind her you see DT. That dark, strange wildling following after, and she meets your eyes, and her eyes narrow as she glares at you. She's wearing a leather jacket. You see baubles and bits that once belonged to you hanging from them.
I walk up to Lampwick.
We need to talk.
Where?
Where what?
Where is she?
I point behind me. She's come here. Will you help me keep the peace?
I'm gonna go talk to her.
Yes. I helped you. She will kill me. I'm not ready.
Polly stares at you
I won't fight her.
and then reaches for you.
I extend my hand.
Squeezes it once. And walks into the woods.
Step into the woods. It's dark and cold. Spike runs in front of you,
I don't like being in here.
keeping a sharp eye on you.
I do have a weapon now.
What do you have?
It's that pike that was in the kitchen, and it has had some kind of heavy brick or block tied to one end, kind of like a quarterstaff, sharp on one end, blunt object on the other.
You have your weapon with you. I feel like in your time here, perhaps your clothing has changed as well.
Yes. Polly now doesn't wear any of the clothing that she wore before. She's cut her hair down short to about my length, and it's grown out to its normal color. She's wearing the large biker's jacket, and it's kind of adorned with these pieces of clothing and ribbons that Providence has given to her. And underneath, just very simple clothing.
You see Achira and the others.
I think I stop about 20 paces back and I just stare.
Achira, you see a figure. It takes a moment, but then you recognize Polly.
Achira would do a hand signal to the wildlings to stay back. Achira would move forward to Polly. You look well.
You don't hear any of that. She moved her head away and you can't read her lips. A small, scrappy dog that once belonged to Dial-Up barks at you once, sort of raises his hackles, and then turns back towards Polly.
It's okay. I can't hear you.
I said you look well.
Stop. I have some things I need to tell you. And I don't think you really need to talk for them, but I'm not going to be able to hear you.
Why can't you hear me?
Are you looking at me?
Yeah. What did he do to you?
Nothing. Achira. Someone is coming for Pine Haven. And they're gonna take it out. They're looking for a bunker. I guess his name was Kusanagi or something.
Kusanagi?
You look surprised.
Kusanagi? Someone has been sabotaging Pine Haven.
Can I keep going?
Yes. But you should come here. You should get here. We'll
You're going too fast.
continue. Tell me.
He is working with Declan and I guess Dial-Up for a while, but they killed her. What else? I tried to stop him so that I could come back. It's a really long time ago, but I messed up, and anyway, Lampwick found me, and he saved my life, and I've been here.
That thing saved you from Kusanagi, and Kusanagi did this to you?
Lampwick saved me. It's been really, really long, Achira.
We found signs that you left willingly. I didn't know that you were taken. And then we found the bunker. Kind of. I'm here now. Why didn't you leave?
I tried so many times to get back to you. You should hear out, Lampwick. I'm not leaving. And if you don't like Lampwick, the only way that I can hear you, you're not going to like.
I have no idea what that means. Polly.
Achira, they're changing. He had one of my family, and she could see me and understand me and talk to me, and I tried to run. I tried to leave, and I got out, and she died. But he's the one that's changing them. She died, and it was my fault, and if things can change, I'm not putting any more blood on my hands, okay? And I'm certainly not going to do it I'm not going to do it for you.
You were always against Lampwick. Always. What has he done to you?
I'm not with anyone, Achira. Not anymore. But I owe him something. And he wants you.
If I hear him out, will you come home with me?
That's not home.
It can be. The bunker. It can be.
I hold out my hand to you, Achira.
Achira steps forward and takes Polly's hand.
And you take her hand in the cold night, in the darkness around you. Polly can't hear it, but you do. The sound of hundreds of dead voices, all speaking one singular phrase at once. She is home. And that is where we end our session tonight.